Everyone, how's it going? I hope everyone has had a great week. My week has been pretty good. I'm going to apologize up front just in case you can hear some rain or thunder or anything like that in the background. It's, of course, we're getting our first thunderstorm here while I'm trying to record this. So, first one of the spring/summer. So, it's always cool. I haven't heard thunder in a while, but just went by pretty quick. So I think we might be safe for now, but who knows what's going to happen in a little bit. So I apologize if you hear any rain or thunder in the background. Um, but yeah, I hope everyone has had a good week. It's been pretty well. Busy as always, but good busy. So like I talked about in my video last week, reframing that stress that I have in a positive note. Looking forward to um, putting all that good stuff to good stress to a good outcome when I head to Spain next week to give my talks that I've been working so hard to get ready for. But what I want to talk about today is something a little bit different than stress last week, and um, today it's about one of my favorite topics, which is tracking your food. I think that it's one of those topics that I've talked about before for sure. It's also one of the topics that I think is controversial because it brings up a lot of uh, negative emotions, rightfully so, or negative experiences, rightfully so, for a lot of people. And certainly, I completely understand that tracking food um, can be tedious, it can be time consuming, it can contribute to a negative mindset around food. Um, Often, certainly people can have develop bad habits and be in a bad mental space with having to track what they're eating. And certainly, if you are someone that thinks they are in this bad mental space and has a bad relationship with the food that you're consuming, then certainly it's something that you should be very cautious with and probably shouldn't do unless you are working with a medical professional. But if you're just someone that just kind of dislikes it, they find it to be hard, they find it to be difficult, they find it to um, be tedious, time consuming, etc. And you've never really sat down and accurately tracked your food, or you are currently struggling with a performance slash body composition type of goal that could be related to food intake, i.e., your performance is not where you want it to be, or your body composition has not been changing in the way you want it to be, but you have not taken a look at your diet recently. I believe that quantifying your food intake can be a quite impactful experiment and also something that can um, just open a lot of doors for you. And I recently taken on a couple of new clients, and for the most part, the people I've taken on kind of, um, you know, some of them have pushed back against the food tracking ask that I have of them. I generally like to have my clients at least do a very diligent job of tracking their food for 2 weeks so that I can get a better understanding as a coach of what they're eating, right? I'm not there 24 hours a day. I can't see, I don't know what you're putting in your mouth, and you can tell me all you want, and not that I don't trust you, but inevitably, if I just told you what I ate today, I would leave something out, inevitably, right? And just telling me what you ate is different than actually what went into that meal, right? You might say, "Oh, I had some eggs and vegetables this morning." Well, okay, how many eggs did you have? What did you cook those eggs in? What did you cook the vegetables in? How many vegetables did you have? Did you just have a small serving of vegetables? You had a big serving of vegetables. What kind of vegetables did you eat? Was it broccoli, Brussels sprouts, zucchini, peppers, onions, etc. Did you put any sauces or seasonings on those vegetables or the eggs? And so, a lot goes into a meal that we often don't think about. That when I said I had veggies and eggs this morning, just doesn't, you don't know about, right? It could be very different. So, um, as a coach, especially a virtual coach, I like to have my clients just do a very diligent job, at least for 2 weeks, kind of not only tracking what they're eating, but also taking pictures so I can see visually, oh, this is what they ate and this is how much they ate, etc. And it's also for them too. Um, I don't think I've had a client yet that has gone, unless they've were very diligent, and I had a couple of very diligent trackers that have come to me before, and they've been tracking their mist for a long time, and but almost even those people, I think, have these moments of let's say aha moments, where they're tracking their food, and all of a sudden they're like, oh wow, I didn't realize that um, when I add 2 tablespoons of butter to cook my eggs in the morning, that's like 300 to 400 calories. Ooh, wow, I didn't realize that. And I wasn't even measuring the butter either. It could be more than 2 tablespoons, right? Or, oh, wow, I didn't realize that I was only eating, 75 grams of protein a day. I thought I was eating more like 100 grams of protein a day. Or, oh, wow, I didn't realize that when I skip breakfast, that it makes it much harder for me to hit my protein and caloric needs every day. Or oh wow, I didn't realize that um, you know a pound of carrots has like virtually no carbohydrates in it, right? I always just assumed they were super a carby food. They're a below ground vegetable. They're evil, right? If I'm a low carb person, and how many carrots I would actually have to eat in order to get a decent amount of carbohydrates. By the way, it's near impossible. Eat all the carrots you want. Um, yeah, so I think that, and also it also helps them be more mindful of what they're doing, right? So if you're one of those people that struggles with um, quote unquote mindless eating, right? You just find yourself in the cabinet reaching for whatever, the nuts, the cereal, the bars, the cookies, whatever, or you're mindlessly eating food off of someone else's plate, your kid's plate, etc. When you have to go through the I wouldn't say I would say act of, but some people would say hassle of tracking the food that you're putting in your mouth, um, you become more aware of like, oh, I need to, that thing that I just went in the cabinet to go get, I need to actually track that, right? And maybe you think twice now before you actually go and get that thing, right? So it's bringing some awareness and some mindfulness into your eating habits because you have to take some type of meaningful action to get to that food. It's the same thing as if I told you that in order to get, in order to have a cookie or a chocolate bar or whatever, you couldn't keep it in your house. You had to drive to the store to get it, right? I bet you would do it far less because you knew that you had to go to the store to get it than if it was in the house somewhere, right? You're bringing some awareness to like, oh, I I'm aware that I want this cookie or this chocolate bar, and that's what I would normally reach for right now. But hmm, do I really want it? Am I really hungry right now? Should I have that? Right? Is there a better choice that I could make? Because you actually have to stop and think about it before you just go to the cabinet and get it out and bring it in, right? And eat it, right? Which is what most of us do. So I think just disregard, quantifying, things like calories and fats and carbs um, um, and micronutrients or whatever that are in your food. The mere fact that you're becoming aware of your habits, and it's once you're aware of them, you can more mindfully make better decisions just by tracking your food, whether you're even doing it accurately or just you're having to say you're not even using an app like Chronometer or MyFitnessPal or whatever, and you're not weighing and everything. You just have to write it down. Like you're just literally saying, I had this for breakfast, I had this for lunch, blah, 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 or I had this cookie or I had this cake or whatever. Just the mere fact of having to do something before you actually go and get the food and put it in your mouth is going to give you more awareness around your eating. So I agree that sometimes tracking and counting calories, etc., are is not the end all be all um, of living a healthy lifestyle, and certainly we want to get to a place where we don't have to rely on that for some of us, right? And some of us will feel very comfortable with it, but some of us probably don't. It's definitely not something that we want to do for the rest of our lives. It's not our definition of our healthy lifestyle, and that's completely fine. But in order to make sometimes changes to um, maybe what's not working or things that have been working in the past but have stopped working now, you need to become more aware of what you're doing and what you're eating and tracking your food intake, whether it's with an app and weighing and measuring everything, or even just writing it down, or maybe you're just tracking your protein or an area that you specifically have a lot of problems with, like you're tracking your carb intake. If you're a low carb person, or you're tracking your fat intake if you've been a low fat person, right? Whatever, right? If you're just tracking one thing, it helps you become more aware, and it helps you become more mindful, and it will open up some aha moments in your food consumption if you haven't been doing it for a long time. So I just want to put that out there. Um, I am a fan of it. I do use it with my clients. It is not the ultimate goal is to have them stress out or be, um, become a tracking expert or become proficient at it. Although I think that it can be quite easy once you become very familiar with the tool that you're using. However, the goal is to just live your life without tracking your food, and because that's the way most people should live. So in order to get there, though, you need to be aware of what you're doing, and I think that a short stint of tracking can help you get there. So what do you think? Are you a tracker? Are you not tracker? Have you been resisting tracking but stuck for a while on a goal of yours that might be helped by tracking? Um, what could you do to better quantify the food? What could you do? What method works for you? How do you tackle these types of things? So I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. Please leave them in the comments below or direct message me or whatever. Happy to chat about it. Um, as always, if you want to get all the content that I put out on a weekly basis, please go to my website, rjbhealth.coach. Click the newsletter link at the top and sign up for the newsletter. And that way you don't have to stalk me on social media, and you can just get everything I put out just directly in your inbox. It's much easier, I promise. And very actionable stuff. I was trying to make my stuff, something that you can actually use in your day-to-day life. Please do that. No spam. And as far as coaching goes, I have a couple of discovery calls this week. Potential clients, if those work out, I'm going to be completely stacked full of clients. So I'm probably going to have to start a waiting list. But if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, still feel free to reach out. You can go to my website, rjbhealth.coach, click the schedule discovery call button, fill out the form, and definitely get you on a waiting list. And if it happens that these discovery calls drop through and I'm still looking for clients, you'll be the first one that I pull up to chat more about with. So please do that if you're interested. And with that, I hope everyone has a good week. Not sure about the video next week. I'll be like I said, be in Spain. So I'll see what I can do, if I can put one out, or maybe I'll send one out, rebroadcast of an old one that I have, but we'll see what I got. And if not, I don't talk to you next week, I'll talk to you the week after. Have a good week, everyone.